This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Jamie Conlan. Jamie, it's been a while. How's things, mate?
All good, mate. All good. Mr. Worldwide, you are these days.
Nah, don't know about that. Don't know about that. You've since we last spoke, Conlan Boxing has went from being a good promotional company to now a great promotional company. What's changed in this time, Jamie? It just went straight up.
Colin McGuigan's left us, so
And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it got better.
no, no, we're still the same. It's just we're taking our opportunities that come at us, and it's good. It is really good. We've got a good stable of young fighters coming through, and then a good stable of fighters that we believe can start to headline shows within the next 12 months here in Belfast. And yeah, big time boxing in Belfast is booming, and long may it continue.
Let's talk a bit about the stable of fighters. First of all, we'll go with Kurt Walker, someone who you've obviously known on a personal basis for a long time. Now you're managing his career. Happy with Kurt's year so far? What do we expect maybe in the next 6 to 12 months for Kurt Walker?
We're on the stage now where he needs to be challenged for titles, for minor titles, testing him, testing him mentally and physically. Fights that will be, you know, kind of gut checks and everything that's needed. But he's at that stage. He's an elite level amateur. He can't hang around for too long fighting, the 6 and 8 rounders where he's meant to win, and it's needed and it's learning process in his career. But he's now at the stage where fights which will both excite him and the people who are behind him and his supporters. The next level kind of fights is what's needed. He's at that stage now, and that's what we're looking at. We might have potentially one more 8 rounder, and then kick off the new year with Kurt Walker in the Ulster Hall or something like that. That's the plan. Initially, was the plan for December was the first headline. First title fight, but plans changed, and Matchroom came on board with Michael, and that kind of swayed things out of Kurt's favour. But he will have one more fight before Christmas, and then we'll go tails.
Kieran Molloy, another obviously one of the first signings you made alongside Kurt at Conlan Boxing. US debut coming up next Saturday night. Excited about this rise for Kieran in the US, and you feel that he will be able to solidify himself as an Irish fighter over there, because obviously there's a massive Irish fan base in Boston for a start.
It is, and his family. He's got big family there, so like, I think he's ready made, tailor made for the US. Irish American fan base. His exciting style, punches with either hand, fast, can talk, clean cut, really, really gets on well with people, very approachable, but also this kid can fight like fuck. So I think we're dipping our toe in the water with a very small card in Boston, which Top Rank have kindly let him do and build a fan base on the East Coast, and then hopefully we go again before Christmas, and then back over to the States early part of next year, or potentially another big fight. So he's not far behind Kurt in his progression, but yeah, I think within the next 6 to 12 months, we're again challenging people, challenging fights, building processes is. His progress is unbelievable, and his performance in the Falls Park I thought was exceptional. He really did steal the show for me, and took Paddy Donovan and Dalton Smith, 6, 7 rounds to do what he done in one, and they didn't do it so clean the way he had done it. So yeah, very very impressed with Kieran, and I'm looking forward to next Saturday night in Boston.
Padraig McCrory is someone who you call him a Cinderella man. We
Mhm.
enjoyed that night in Frankfurt. Probably my favourite night in boxing, to be honest, to date. It was unbelievable that night. Can we expect more of those nights for Padraig McCrory?
Yeah, well, Paulie's situation is a bit different. It's a bit of a waiting game, bit of cat and mouse. Number three in the world with WBA. Big fights are being rumored. Big fights are being tipped about, touched on, and then not being fulfilled. But he's been taking fights for the last, I think, since that night in uh, in Frankfurt. He's been taking fights with a bad hand, and people don't realize that the extent of what his hand was like. It was a mess before the last fight against Steve Woodall. I think he only done one spar going into the fight, his hand was playing up even on the week of the fight. I don't think he could close it at one stage, and it's a testament to Paddy, his mental character to be able to carry a show on his back and go out there and perform in a real hostile fight that was hot. That was, Steve came at a high pace and really pushed him to his very limits, and that was a big risk, low reward fight for Paddy. And we shouldn't really be taking any more of them. It should be all big reward to match the risk now for Paddy, and that's what we're doing. He's going to take some time to let the hand rest, recover, and he'll be back hopefully with something big in the early part of next year.
I'm sure you've heard me on interviews with Frank Smith, Eddie Hearn, asking the question about Edgar Berlanga, asking the question about Diego Pacheco. Are those the type of fights you want to see Padraig McCrory in the new year?
Yeah, I think that's where he deserves to be.
What about an all-Irish fight with Jason Quigley? Is that?
Love it. Love it. It's a fantastic fight. It's a fight as well. It's actually a fight that he doesn't get probably the reward that he would deserve if he beat Jason Quigley, because he's a world class fighter. But it could then entice the bigger names to come. I think with Paddy, we do have a very good WBA ranking, so that's kind of what we're sitting with. But if we also have a big name on the chopping block, it's another kind of stick to throw out, or carrot to throw out for the bigger guys to make him more a viable and commercial option. But Paddy's a man who takes opportunities, and the risk with Paddy is as we've seen in Frankfurt that night, where they took a big risk and a gamble, thinking this is a very limited fighter, and then he hits you on the chin and it's good night, Irene. So that's like he is a bit of a secret for us on the world stage. We know him here and we followed his career from the Dab Nation until where it is now, but on the world stage people don't realize what he can do and what he's like and how hard he is. When you watch him on tape, it doesn't look as good as what he is in the ring, and when he hits you, you know you've been hit.
Fergus Quinn in the US next Saturday night with Molloy on the same card in Boston. Fergus next year, what's his next 6 to 12 months look like?
Well, Fergus, again, like the other two lads, is just begging for 50-50 fights and just wants to go out and prove himself. Boston, again, tailor-made for the East Coast of America's Fergus. All balls, all guts, just non-stop aggression, non-stop work rate, fan-friendly style, which he does bring a big fan base. He does have good family connections in New York and in Boston, so, and also in Philadelphia. So he's bringing a good crowd to Boston. It's the first opportunity to see what it's like outside of Ireland, to see what it's like with this different commission, following all the process before a fight, medical ways and wee things like that. But we've been talking to different names, and we're doing a show here obviously December 2nd with Matchroom, and he was saying, just give me any of the Matchroom boys. I have fit any of them, but it doesn't seem like it's going to work that way. Most likely he will appear on that card as well in the 6th rounder, and then him and Kurt Walker will be in the Ulster Hall sometime early part of next year.
We'll go quickly through the next few and then we'll get on to Michael and stuff. But Alex Dilmagani and George O'Connor, what's the story with those two? When we're going to see those two out next?
Georgia will announce something very, very soon. Same with Alex. Both of them will fight before Christmas. Alex, a bit unfortunate, was due to fight in France against Bellini, who Gary Cully had beat on a Matchroom card in 1 round. So he was going out in France November 11th. He got a cut on his nose, and just a few wee things have happened. He get reopened, and when he tried to go back and spar, and he's just been waiting. Potential fight with Selfie Bar just couldn't be materialized on the Katie Taylor card, and yeah, we're still with Alex wanting to get him out there and get him active. The key for me is to get him active first, and then he's ready to fight anyone. I've seen him in the gym, and he has all the talent. He just needs to be able to progress himself and build himself back into the momentum stage, and then he's ready to fight anyone. He's balls to burn. He's a great boxing mind, real fucking articulate mind when it comes to boxing. and he just wants to go out there and showcase his talents. He feels like he hasn't been able to do that, and boxing is escaping him now because of that. So it's just about getting him active. We'll get him out before Christmas, and then he's ready to go against any of the guys, Self, anyone else at 130, Kakachi, anyone else is there. He's willing to take that opportunity. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then Georgia, we just need to be. It's baby steps to Georgia back in again, 2 or 3 fights, and she's ready to go into the mix again. So both of them will be out before Christmas.
The next two fellas face off. You're in a privileged position. You know them both so well. You promote both. You manage both. Is that a tough night for you in December 2nd when they're both facing off against each other?
Didn't want to do it, but both of them wanted to do it. They swayed me more on it, like, and it's a fight where it really is a crossroads fight. But it's intriguing in so many different ways, and when I speak to different people, I have a different answer and a different outcome of how the fight could go, and everyone also has their own opinion on how it could go. Lewis Crocker has been, a bit of a cult figure on the boxing circuit here in Ireland. He was knocking out people when he was 15, 14, 16, all the way through the amateurs. He was laying people out, and it's unheard of. And when he came into the early stage of his pro career, again, he was following through what he was doing. Momentum started to escape him, but this last wave, we've got it. And I think if there's an opportunity to fulfill the early potential and the potential that the people here have seen from Lewis Crocker as a young kid coming right through, this could potentially be the night. But on the flip side of that, this could be the night where if the potential isn't there, he'll be found out. Because Padraig McKenna is that fucker you don't want to be in the ring with. He is that guy who's gonna bring you lay. He's gonna test you. He's gonna, if you haven't trained, he'll make it aware very quickly. If it's hard night, he'll drag you into trenches where you've never been before, where you don't want to be. But also, he's 6'2", 6'3", skinny southpaw, and can make your night horrible. Balls to burn, can punch, can take a punch, and just seems to make people, very good fighters, fight his kind of fight. Jack Catchell was so close all those years ago in 2018, and we forget about, like, that was a real fucking nip and tuck. Even though Tyrone was getting dropped, he was getting up and still winning the rounds, but just grinding things out. And then you seen what happened to Gary Colley last time out, and what Tyrone done to Jose Felix. When the pressure was on in the Falls Park and in a cauldron-like atmosphere, and Tyrone stood up there, and this man can be written off at your peril. So he sees this as a massive opportunity to propel his career again to the next level and set up big fights and secure his financial future for his family. So it's insane. It's an insane fight, and like, the city, I think, have appreciated that the fight has been put on. And Belfast is a boxing city. When it's a good fight, they come out in their droves and they show their appreciation for it. And when we started off and we done a deal with Tyrone and Crocker, we said we're going to go December 2nd, no matter what. Mick's situation was working in the background, but that was our like when we seen that and seen the reception that gathered, we knew we have done something that people would be very happy with. And this is going to be a big special fight for both guys.
I think they both need to be commended for taking it as well, because a lot of the time now people look at promoters and look at fights, and you need to be commended for this as well. And sometimes people don't like taking risks. These two want to take the risk. You want to take the risk as their promoter and manager at the same time.
No, it's all them. It's all them. Like, them two deserve all the credit. And you're right. It could have been very easy for either of them to go a separate route and probably get good enough recognition and a good night, big night here on the zone. So it's for the winner of this, it solidifies them as their own headline act in Belfast to potentially do 10,000 in the SSC going forward after this. Whoever wins this fight is one of the faces of boxing here in the city, and that's what they know and they understand. And to be that, they must slay the other, and that's where this fight has really grasped the imagination of everyone involved.
We'll move on to Michael now. I think after Michael's last loss, he was disrespected because he fought against Lee Wood. He beat Lee Wood for most of the fight, and then he lost in dramatic fashion, right? He fought Lopez, who, in my opinion, is the best in the division. And a lot of people said that Mick should retire, Mick's finished. Did you believe that after that fight? In the first moments after that fight, when you thought in your mind, did you think, we fucked this up, or did you just think you were just beating the night by a better fighter that night?
I just thought he was the worst I've seen make of a form. So I knew it was an off night. When you see someone having an off night, you can spot it a mile away. I knew from the first 30 seconds, like this is not the Miguel I know. And there's various different reasons that we've sat down and identified, between ourselves and our people around us. And you went, yeah, okay, and I understood why the performance was what it was. But I think it is a bit harsh to rate him off so quickly when his only two defeats have been to Ring Magazine ranked #1 fighters, both Lee Wood and like Luis Alberto Lopez. So it's not like he's been beat by fights he should win. These are fights where it was nip and tuck either way, and Lopez was heavy favourite going in, and I thought Lee Wood should have been favourite going into the fight with Lee, being in his home city and being just a newly crowned champion and having that momentum. Same with Lopez, probably the wrong time for both of them, being newly crowned champions and having that confidence that comes with being world champion. And both of them are they're recognised at one stage within the last 12 months as being pound for pound #1 in the rankings at featherweight. So in a division that is really, really high quality.
Michael is someone who's laser focused. I've never met an athlete like him. After that fight, did you know straight away that he would get back into the ring, or did you doubt it?
I knew he came to my house on the Monday, I think, for dinner, and I knew that he was back. He was going to come back. He was going to go straight back in. Despite what everything was saying around him, and obviously reading stuff online, and him kind of not giving a real verbal sway either way. He booked, I think it was the Zurich marathon or some fucking marathon, half a marathon, some marathon. He just knew he had to do a marathon, and I think in that communication we had, he had said about, yeah, it'll set me up for a good training start for December, but no one else had picked it up, and it just nodded. And at that stage, when things are so raw, you don't need to say anything. You just need to be there. So you just need to listen to the events and listen to whatever's coming out, and then in a few weeks after that, you assess the whole situation and you realize. And then the main thing for me was when we went to Miami and I seen him training in Miami, and I just say, you're going to be world champion. There's no doubt in my mind. I still believe it. I've believed it since he was 12 years old. I'd seen it. It's an off night, and I just seen the class and the quality, and every gym we were in, it stood out. So I knew he'd went over and was training with H in Fozzie's gym, and they were working together there, and he was building a bit of a base. I hadn't seen him training, but then when I got to Miami and actually seen him physically training, he's ready to go.
When you got to Miami, you obviously worked with Buddy McGirt, you worked with Jorge Rubio, and obviously Pedro Diaz. What stood out with Pedro Diaz? What was different in that training? Because I heard you and Mick both say maybe in interviews that Pedro Diaz was the man you both knew. What was different?
It's very impressive. Like from the off, I've never seen a detailed preparation as much as like it right down to the smallest minute thing he kind of picks up on, and every aspect is covered and everything is monitored, and it's really high performance is how I can explain it. How he goes through his preparation, it's unique, and it felt like this is what was needed. This was the step. Every coach he went to was world class, and like when we sat back and went, right, you set and picked it through. It was a very hard decision. Body, we really enjoyed the time with Body, like fantastic. Like one of the probably the best I have seen like in boxing. He's not even watching, and you'd hear a snap or no snap, and he could spot things and identify faults and identify strengths and weaknesses really good. And Jorge Rubio I've always had time for, and I think that style is again the same kind of style, but Michael's adjusted to and can work with very well. And Pedro Diaz, then we went there, it was just, I think he just blew us away with what Harry Harris detailed in, right down to the minute thing, and preparation and his video work and everything he does was just, yeah, it was all rolled in. It was the complete package, and I'm looking forward now to see. There is always teething process with new coaches, so it's all about working together and trusting the process. And yeah, I'm really very excited to see this new and improved. Well, this actually old Michael Conlan coming back, like, and that's all it needs.
In terms of the fight, Jordan Gill, someone Mick knows very well, has been in the ring with him for many rounds. There's that added thing to it now. He's Lee Wood's friend, and he's training with Ben Davison, and he's coming.
I don't think he's coach. He's not a coach.
Oh, really? I was under the impression he was with Ben Davison, so that's not true.
No, I think so.
Okay. Well, in terms of Jordan Gill and what he brings, do you believe this is the perfect comeback fight for Michael?
It's hard to say anyone is the perfect comeback fight. It's a very, very. I think it's a strong enough comeback fight. I think Jordan Gill has a lot to prove also. He's just done a full camp with Lee Wood as he prepared for Josh Warrington. And you just touched on it, Lee Wood's friend. There's probably his own personal connection to when Michael fought Lee Wood. And then you go right back to when the sparring stories. The sparring, I would have brought Jordan down from Sheffield, wherever he was coming down from, and kind of communicated if he needed anything with them. So yeah, he's a lovely fella. But the sparring was really good sparring. Some quality rounds between both guys, and I think both can probably take confidence off. And Jordan knows how the spars went. Ultimately, both of them know how the spars went, so there'll probably be stuff that he's taken away from it to convince himself where he was more, and maybe same with Michael. But the difference is, I think Michael has the footage to back it up, so he can identify things there. But again, that's a different Jordan Gill. That's a Jordan Gill of old, and I think his father is probably his main coach. I'm not sure who's doing his corner, but they're roaming around different gyms to spar different people to try and emulate Michael. They don't think they have a base at this one time yet. But I'd also read Davison was with coaching. That would have been brilliant. But they have Ben Davison in Belfast. So it would have brought back the whole story with Lee Wood and Jordan Gill and getting involved in that. So I think it does. I think it has enough intangibles there to really excite things. I think it has enough intangibles to be a banana skin for Michael also. These two fighters both need this as much as the other. It's all on the line. Comeback fight for Michael after losing to Lopez. Comeback fight for Jordan Gill after losing to Kiko. Both of them need this win to keep their career alive in one sense, but also to reignite their career to put it on the world level. A lot of pressure on both of them. Jordan having no coach going into this fight, really ill prepared in one sense, but then also feeling more prepared because his father is the coach, but coming into the Lions Den, which will be hostile. And everyone you meet is how hostile it is here, and how much of a cauldron it is here, and very respectful boxing people, but they will certainly not be known who they're rooting for.
We haven't got too long left, so we'll go through this quickly. In terms of Michael and his world title aspirations, and you've touched on it, you believe he'll become a world champion. I think a lot of people in Ireland think the same. How quick of a route back to that title do you believe Michael can have if he beats Jordan Gill, and when he beats Jordan Gill on December?
1 fight at a time, just 1 fight at a time. There's no point in putting labels on it. I believe in it, and just about trusting the process now, taking every step right this time. I think we made some mistakes last time in putting labels on things and putting time on things. But this time, it's just about being Michael. And that's all Michael has to do. And we'd say that we'll maneuver things and take it after each fight.
A lot of people in Belfast will be wondering, is this Matchroom Conlan boxing deal on for, a period of time? Is Michael signed the Matchroom now for a few years? What's the story there? Because obviously this is big time boxing back to Belfast. Everyone's happy you've done it, but people want this consistently now.
Well, yeah, I think they'll get some consistency. It's a co-promotion, so it's something that, really helps us as well, kind of working with Matchroom and what they bring to the table and that big machine that they have behind things, and they could potentially make Michael a star, like an even bigger star. He's big here and he's obviously big in New York and whatnot, but like the lads, they promote things and they promote fighters in ways that I don't think anyone else does. So it is something that I'm really looking forward to and really looking forward to being a part of on December 2nd.
Final one for me. Tickets come out when this is released. Tickets will just be out because they come out today, I'll say, at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Okay.
9 a.m. is it?
Yeah, I think it's 9.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 9.
Those tickets are expected to go very quickly. So what's your message to fans who are going to be watching this today saying, I'm thinking I'm on the fence of buying a ticket?
No, listen, this is the perfect night out before Christmas. This is the perfect night out, whether it be with your missus or with the lads. You have a mix of everything. You have some of the best prospects Ireland has coming through, but also some of the best fights that Ireland will probably see in the previous years. Sean McComb, Sam Maxwell is another one that we didn't touch on for this fight, which I think has all the intentions of igniting to something big. Live together, train together, act together, supported each other, sparred each other, neither facing each other. They know each other inside out. No bad blood, straight business. Same with Tyrone McKenna and Lewis Crocker. I think that is pure violence. The bloodthirsty people that will be in the audience will be able to enjoy that. We have everything, and then I think we have potential masterclass of boxing on as a main event. Everything. It's the perfect night out in Belfast, December 2nd, not to be missed.
Make sure you get those tickets. Jamie, always a pleasure on IFL TV. Thank you very much for your time, mate, and we'll catch up again very soon.
Cheers, Mustachio.